27.
So I took this golfer and added nearly 2 clubs of distance to his irons in under 1 hour. What I taught him will also help you. We use some of the most interesting golf technology available. With the help of the JD Golf Academy team, I am going to show you where you are leaving yards on the table. Learn these ideas and you can lower your scores.
Right, Mark, so what we're seeing here, obviously you hit target all day long, but we want to get this speed up. You're swinging at about 80 mile an hour right now.
That's with a 7?
That's with a 7 iron. And like you said, you could hit target all day with that speed, but can we hit target at 85, 90 like you were saying earlier, Mark? Yeah. Now, if we looked at the gears system on here, we've got the mass movements and the segment movements. So your early pelvis movement off the ball of 1.4 inches is actually a really nice number. Okay. That's sort of where we want to be living. Anywhere between ½ inch, inch and a half is a good number. Yeah. And you actually recenter that pelvis segment quite well. So by the time you get to the top of your action, the pelvis is only -0.5. So you've recentered the pelvis quite well. The issue is when you correlate that onto the swing cap, if I just blow that up a little, we have a starting pressure of 53, which is pretty typical. You have a trigger move into the left side early. When the club head is sort of furthest away from target, that's when I want to have people at their maximum trail side pressure. So when the club is furthest away, give or take now, you're at 67% onto the trail side. Now when that club then is going to start to stabilize and tip back over your head, that's when we want the pressure falling back to 50-50. We don't want pressure here or club here and moving further right, because then there's not enough time to recenter.
He doesn't actually physically move further
no, it's
right.
It's the pressure
in the
correct
ground, isn't it?
And then when we continue your action to the top, we stall out a little bit here, and then between left arm parallel and top,
he's still almost 70% in trail, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is where a stronger player would be
moving the other way.
And I say stronger as in someone who's going to hit it faster, Mark. As in, if the game's at target, Mark's an arrow machine.
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to do that at a certain speed.
And from that point, we pressure further right. So by the time we're up top and then in the early transition.
73 right.
Correct.
So Mark is not moving mass. He's not shifting his body across, because you can see he's quite the opposite. But he is shifting his pressure a long way and keeping it in this foot for a long time. Slightly different. We'll show you what that means as the lesson goes on.
Because your horizontal force is very strong. Your rotational force and your vertical force are your 2 weaker forces. And if you look at the peak horizontal, it's a strong peak. But then we look at the braking force of the horizontal, so at the bottom segment.
Nowhere near.
It's nowhere near.
It's the braking force is nowhere
That's
near.
That's really important. You can have as much horizontal as you want. If you're driving a car at 100 mile an hour and you brake really slowly, those people ain't moving very far inside that. If you're going at 40 mile an hour, jam the brakes on there. Yeah. And that's how we get the speed through the head.
Get it out of you.
Yes.
Rather you keep it all pented up inside.
Because your pressure is trail side for a long time and you're having to just keep moving forward.
Linear, isn't it?
Yeah. Very linear. Yeah.
So we started by trying to grab with this trail foot, meaning as I start to move back, this trail foot's actually turning in the ground or trying to clockwise. And the more you grab the ground as you try and turn it clockwise, the more it'll kind of work as a braking force and work against you back the opposite way, halting this and hopefully sending that pressure a little bit more even back onto this side. That's where we started to dabble at the beginning. Now remember, if you like the information in this video, subscribe to my newsletter, links down below. Also, if you want to take a lesson with the team at JD Golf Academy, their number's in the description down below as well. Contact them. This studio that they use and the way that they use it as great coaches just is, well, one of the best teaching studios in all of the world. Like, it's got the most up-to-date tech to help you play better golf. So we did a couple of practice swings where he did grab earlier. Did he do it with the ball? So we're looking at this graph here and see the peak in his practice swings. Mark was getting it peaking up here, so way earlier in the swing. This is the timeline.
The vertical's gone up, and look, it's vertical there.
Yeah, vertical went way up, but this grab could be so much earlier.
Yeah. You want to
Recentered earlier, but not
I did do without the ball, which is obviously same as everybody.
Yeah.
About the handicap.
Do that straight off takeaway.
Yeah.
Literally, as soon as that club goes back, you're grabbing that foot in.
Okay.
So can we just have a compare graph so I can show the audience the difference in this, because it is earlier and this definitely looks like it's peaking. So this is before. You can see it's got a lot of peaks because Mark's not really grabbing much at all. He's like struggling to work out when to grab at the top of the backswing. This is the last one. See how the peak is definite, still a bit flatlining at the top, but shifted towards the start of the swing. At top of the backswing, what does that do to his pressure, if anything, guys? If we've taken both up to the top, yeah, so we were 72 in trail at the top of his backswing, which isn't really powerful, where now he's down to 62.
What I would say there as well, if you look at the orientation of the knee,
So much better.
if you're, see how you've got much more tip to that knee angle.
Yeah.
So if I'm wanting you to push up through the left side, it's quite hard to do it with level knees.
Yeah.
If I'm sort of falling in, so the right knee's higher than the left, I can sort
You could use the
I've got
ground.
some
You can
leverage.
use the ground fade for that.
yeah, I'm on like a bit of a downhill kind of position.
It's all about perceptions of what you think you're doing and
Yeah.
what you're doing. If you stand there all day, kind of thinking, right, I'm going to clear the hips, but if you've got no pressure on the floor,
If you're
And it's too late. Those faults are generally too late.
And there's got to be a reason to clear the hips.
What are
It's normally
these?
happening way earlier.
But what are these called? This is a ground reaction. So this is what's happening to give the reaction. You're talking always about the reaction. You got to think about what causes the reaction, because otherwise it's always too late.
100%. Yeah.
So notice how we're talking about pressure, not mass. So I can move big segments across to move my pressure, or I can move pressure by rotating, pushing down in the ground harder with that one. If I take this foot off, I don't need to move mass, but the pressure goes there, and the same that way. So if I was light on my feet here and feel like I'm building pressure down on this foot, like pushing down. So not moving huge segments, getting the difference between moving mass segments, well, watch what it does.
There you go, because you're making the smallest of mass movement there, nothing, but you're jamming that needle left and right. Yeah. So that's quick, isn't it?
Yeah, rather than...
Yes, absolutely. That's slow as hell. Bear in mind you've got half a second to do all of this. Yeah. So that is pressure shift.
An analogy, that it's almost like if you're running across
100%.
and you're like...
100%. Yeah, you're tapping each foot. Yeah. So you're lightening one foot to put pressure onto the other foot. Yeah.
Rather than shifting
Mass and segments, which is slow. Yeah.
And it's definitely going to affect path and face
Hugely.
delivery.
Yeah. And then what you can start to do once you've got a feel for that, can I just jump on there on that? Is you can then start to sort of just put your arms across shoulder line and just sort of introduce a bit of a kind of a downswing shift. Go crazy. Like go stupid, whatever feels ridiculous.
Dynamically looked very different then.
Hey, okay. So see how the dot now is working the right way. You could go more.
Yeah, but it's going in the right
But
direction.
it's the right
10% less
direction.
pressure on your trail foot at the top of your backswing.
Yeah, that's a much better move. Because now the dot is working the way we want it to work, as opposed to, like you said, the club tipping over your head and the pressure working trail side.
Yeah.
So you can do that movement. It's now, like you said, forget about the golf club, forget about result, forget that you've got a club face on the end of your club, and you've got to hit a target.
More awareness of pressure.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I noticed your start spot there. You were very tappy.
Yeah.
Way
days.
more dynamic.
Happy days or tappy days?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, a bit of tappy days.
So tappy at address. Why is that so important? You see it so much, I do it loads now with golfers. It's because it really starts to allow you to feel the pressure, not only lead and trail, but also your toes and your heels are involved in that. So you're this, as well as vertical forces. Golfers who are very static, certainly ones who are struggling to move at speed, they are often much more unaware of their feet. And the other thing that we see from good players is they actually load this side to go this way. So the tappy is kind of allowing them to load the right side to then go. So important, and something that good players often bring in when you start to work in the ground this way.
That's good. I like that.
Do you want to catch one of them?
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, you can hear that.
It's hit, yeah.
So much beefier.
The vertical go through the roof.
Oh, vertical town.
Yeah.
Look at the vertical. Welcome to the vertical club.
Okay, right, now, this is good. So now, 86 are there. 88 there, yeah? Early doors. So, like we said, club's furthest away from target. We want that tipping back across with the pressure going the other way. Where's that white dot going?
Oh, yeah.
So, top of backswing.
Oh, you're in the 50s.
Yeah, we're in a good spot.
Well,
You were 70s before.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now,
And the feels associated with it.
vertical.
Oh, vertical's early as well.
Look at the lag you've got there without trying to think about
Product
jamming,
of.
angling.
Yeah.
And your
So
lead.
something else.
Correct. It's not, you're not holding angles. It's just things are being delayed because other things are speeding up.
Your peak lead side pressure there is at 76.
Halfway down.
Halfway down.
Yeah.
Now where's it going? It's going to back it up.
Yeah, it backs up a little.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's where you're breaking the force.
Yeah.
87.
That was 80.
86 and a half.
And it was?
79.
Yeah, it was 80 miles an hour,
Yeah,
wasn't
so
it?
it's significantly
10%
quicker.
at least.
Significantly quicker.
That's ridiculous.
And what have you not hindered there, being a good player?
He struck that, didn't
Still
he?
struck it.
Straight
Oh,
middle
you
of the face.
because you that's what I said at the start. You need to accept that you're really good, but the question is not how good am I? The question should be how good am I when I'm running at 90 miles an hour with a 7-iron?
Yeah.
How good am I when I'm running at 87 miles an hour? The question at 80 miles an hour is ticked. It's fine. You're in the elite. You can play with some great players
Like
at
you
that.
said,
How far can I push it?
This
Correct.
is only as good as the person's willingness to go through this process.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
If they're not willing to hit some really poor
And
shots,
that's across the board, whether they're a tour pro or a beginner.
Yeah. Amazing gains from Mark in such a small time. And I think so many golfers leave so much distance on the table, as this good player did as well. We get so fixated with hitting target that we forget that distance is part of hitting target and often can make hitting target easier in some instances. Hope you got a lot from this. If you want to learn more about sending your driver or your irons as long as possible, this video is really going to help you out.